was a good run. If you're watching this by now, you should have done a 4-minute cool down walk at a slow, easy pace. Now we're gonna get into some stretching, and for each stretch, you're gonna wanna hold the stretch for at least 30 seconds. So the first stretch we'll be doing will stretch the gastrocnemius muscle, so the big calf muscle. So you'll want to start by finding a wall and place your heel on the ground and the ball of your foot on the wall. So you'll want to keep your leg relatively straight and lean in, bringing your hips closer to the wall. So we're going to hold this for 30 seconds before we switch legs. As you progress into the stretch, you can move closer to the wall and go deeper into the stretch, and switch legs. So they'll do the same thing on the other side. If you're not really feeling anything, check to make sure that you're not bending at your hips. If you straighten your hips and straighten your knee, you'll feel the stretch better. The second stretch we'll be doing is the standing soleus stretch. The soleus muscle is located underneath the gastrocnemius muscle. So for this stretch, you're getting into a bit of a lunge position, but your feet are closer together than in a normal lunge. Your back leg, your foot is completely on the ground. And then you bend at your ankle and your knee, keeping the leading leg, the calf of the leading leg, perpendicular to the ground. So continue to hold that there and then switch legs. Do the same on the other side, this time with the opposite foot completely flat on the ground. Next up is the standing hip flexor stretch. So for this stretch, you're going to get into a lunge position, keeping your back leg as straight as possible, but there will be a slight bend in your knee because you're going to tilt your pelvis underneath you and lean into the lunge so that you feel a stretch across the front part of the hip. The hip flexor is responsible for flexion at the hip, so bending over at the hips. So when you go to drive your knee up, the hip flexor is working. Switch legs. So same thing as before. One side may feel tighter than the other. As a society, we tend to sit a lot, so the hip flexor gets very, very tight. So this one's extremely important to do before a run because if it's really tight, that can cause you to arch in your lower back, and that can end up causing lower back pain. Next will be the standing quadriceps stretch. So for this stretch, it might be helpful to hang on to the wall or a chair. So you're going to grab your ankle and pull your ankle back up towards your butt. For this one, you really want to think about pulling your belly button in towards your spine and slightly squeezing your butt cheeks together. We don't want to arch the back, so make sure you're not doing that. If you have really tight quads or a tight hip flexor, your knee may want to move slightly forward. Switch legs. But by keeping your belly button pulled in towards your spine and your butt cheeks pulled together, you will avoid overarching your back. So eventually, even if your knee's out in front, the more you stretch, the more you'll be able to get it in a line with your legs. And our second last stretch is the standing hamstring stretch. So place one leg out in front of you with the heel on the ground and bend at your hips, not your waist. Keep a flat back. So pull that belly button in towards your spine and you'll feel a nice stretch along the back of your thigh. Keep your leg nice and straight. And hold. And switch legs. Again, other leg out in front, heel on the ground, bend at the hips. You can keep a slight bend in your knee. It doesn't have to be completely locked out. And as you progress, you can go deeper into the stretch. And last but not least, the figure 4 stretch. So if you want, you can use a mat or you can go on the carpet or anything that's going to make it comfortable to lie on the ground. So once you're ready, lay down on your back. Put your foot on top of your thigh and grab your thigh and pull it towards your chest. Hold there. And as you get into the stretch and holding it for a bit longer, if you feel comfortable, you can go deeper into the stretch by pulling your leg closer to your chest. And switch legs. So put your other foot on your thigh and pull your leg towards your chest. And you are done! You did it! Great job. You are awesome. Go take a drink of water, grab a little recovery snack, and have a great rest of your day. Whether you're doing this in the morning, in the evening, I hope whatever's left of your day is absolutely amazing.